Welcome, welcome. Come on in. I will be with you in just a moment. I'm having a little drink of coffee. I'm getting all my ducks in a row. Yes, ducks. D-U-K. Oh, D-U-C-K. Wow, it's going to be a bad stream today if I can't even spell ducks right. I'll be back in a moment, folks, and we'll get right into it. And ZX81, first in the chat today. Congratulations, sir. I'll be with you very, very soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Yes, we're back. We're live. Pre-show live stream is back in business today, ladies and gents. I have my coffee. I have PPP. Oh, some dramatic music there. And we've got some interesting stuff to go over today. And then we've got a super duper show lined up because my good friend, Big Chick, yes, Charlie Robinson, is going to be coming onto the show today. And we're going to be taking on the weirdos and the wokelins. Yes, and talking about the ever-increasing police state. So join me for that one live over on TFR later on today, about just over an hour from now. You can also get that over in the Discord server, TalkStream Live, and Paranormal Radio app. So many different ways to listen. There truly, truly is. And today, I can tell you, my good friend Charlie, he is all wound up. Oh boy, he's got a lot to get off his chest today. So that's going to be really, really good stuff. I'm looking forward to that. I hope you're looking forward to that as well. And last night, we had a really different type of show, but a really interesting one all the same. And we dived into the weird and wonderful world of the connections between Star Wars and reality. And I tell you what, it's given me a new kind of enthusiasm to go back and watch all of those movies. And I wish I had started last night, because when I got off the show, my boy was looking for something to watch, and we thought, well, we'll watch this new zombie film that's out. I can't even remember the name of it. It was that terrible. I was ready for turning this thing off after 5 minutes. And listen, folks, I love B movies. I love C movies. I can go all the way to Z. This thing was like big money. Zack Snyder produced it, and it was like 2.5 hours of possibly the finest grade A tripe I have ever had to endure in my life. So last night I wished I had started the Star Wars saga again. But I'll get into that at the weekend. Yes, indeed. I'm not even gonna try and remember the name of that film. All I know is that Dave Bautista was in it. The old wrestler dude. And I thought, well, he doesn't really get cast in bad movies. I thought, dear Lord, there's only so many things you can do with the zombie genre, and this film done none of it. It was terrible, terrible. But yes, with that said, let me come into the chat room. And as you can see, ZX, he's got his name up here on the screen for being first. It's a really, really great way to garnish and harvest some dopamine, folks, if you get in here first. You get to see your name on the screen throughout the stream. Yes, indeed. So ZX, congrats to you, my friend. You came in with a big boom. You should get extra points for saying that on your way in. Then we've got X Wraith, second in the chat room. A very valiant effort, Wraith. You'll need to try harder next time. You were almost there. There was like a ball hair between you and ZX getting in. We've then got third, Jose Ramon Francis. Yes, indeed. So scrolling on down after that, we've got Rorschach, the Wookiee. Malaya's got her eyes out, Blue Chickens, UFOs, Woo, and PPP. It's a busy day at Malaya's house. Good to see you, Malaya. We've got Jules, and Jules is going to be coming onto the show next week, along with Nano Girl, to blow our mind. Now, I know that Nano and Jules have kind of said hour number 2. I took a little look at what Jules is putting together, and I think we might have to do the full show. 1 hour might not do it justice, so we'll see. We'll see, but I'm really looking forward to that one. Next week's going to be a really cool, interesting week. A different week again. Something different on Nano Night with Jules coming in and us taking a different direction for one of Nano's shows. We've also got Anne-Marie Hoff, going to be a first-time guest on the show on Monday next week. And she's a lady that talks to animals. No relation to Dr. Dolittle. I already asked her. Well, I didn't really. I thought that might come across a little bit cheeky. But no, she is an animal whisperer. And I'm really looking forward to getting into some conversations with her. And we've also got our friends from Australia, Evan and Stephen Strong. They've been in touch with me this time, which is brilliant. Because I always fear when I have to go and pester guests. Maybe I'm just being just that, a pest. But no, they've reached out to me this time. which is absolutely fantastic. So it's a strong connection made down under. And this time they might even be bringing on some of the speakers that appear at their conferences. Something completely different, a whole lot deeper, and really, really good woo. And definitely a continuation into us trying to put together the story of where we come from. So that is all stuff to look forward to. But we've got stuff to talk about today. We've got Space Bezos, and it sounds like something that astronauts probably should go to the doctor with after returning from space. If you get a dose of Space Bezos, I'm reliably assured that NASA has got a very, very effective cream to clear all of that up. So we're going to be talking about that. And talking to NASA, they have thrown their cap into the ring when it comes to looking for UFOs. And I know all of you people out there will be over enthused at that news, right? NASA looking for UFOs. Oh, disclosure is just around the corner, right? Right? Maybe. So, also in the chat room, I'm all over the place today, having a good day. We'll see what happens. As long as we don't get hit with one of those migraines like yesterday. Dear Lord. Boy, oh boy. Not a good one, but touch hairy wood. We're back today. We're migraine free and we are good to go. So we've got somebody called Bernays in there, and you'll see Bernays' name is in green. And if you're in green, that means it's a member on the channel, and that means they get into the Sunday streams over on the member zone right here on YouTube on KBS live streaming. If you're interested in that, just click the blue button down below. There's no commitment. That'll show you the various options to become a member, and it's only if you can. It's just another way that if you want to take that extra leap of faith and support yours truly, that is one way you can do so. We've got PayPal in the description, and we'll soon be adding the Bitcoin wallet as well. Yes, I am getting future-proofed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting ready for whatever is to come as we move into the space age, and the crypto wallet is definitely a part of that. I don't have the link for that just yet. That'll come in the near future. Moving on down the chat room, we have got Ailes Storm. Who else we got in here? We have got my good friend, long-time viewer, and somebody that ends up on so many channels that I end up on. It's Marty. Good to see you, Marty. Jules again, Bernays, ZX, Troy. Good to see you, Troy. We also have the Wookie. Good to see you. Sidvich, yes, you are here, my good friend. Good to see you, all the way from Norway. And Malaya says cooking, laundry, etc. Cheers. So cooking, laundry, and all those things that you listed before. You are multitasking. Bruce Wayne, thank you so much for your support of the channel, Bruce. Much, much appreciated. And Basic Materials says that Bezos is going home to Nibiru. I tell you what now, if there is anyone without running the risk of sounding like cruel and nasty, a strange looking bugger, isn't he? Well, I mean, I get to like maybe see people a bit too close and personal when I'm making promos and doing the Photoshop and getting the thumbnail ready for the show. But I tell you what, I was disturbing looking at old Jeff today. Wow, strange looking character, but boy, would I love just 1 0 of that man's bank account. Talk about astronomical wealth. Oh, I'm telling you, that it was either a really good pun or a really bad one. It depends whether you like me or not. We got Jules in there, Troy, Timothy, Henwood. Yes, indeedy. NASA must have got their CGI upgraded. They may well have done. They may well have done, sir. If they're entering the UFO arena, it's even more reason for me to back out of it. That's all I can say. But shall we get into this? We've wasted, 18 minutes of me talking about nothing, wasting your time. And on that note, if you do have anything more important to be doing right now, please don't think like I'm stealing your time. You are more than welcome to go and partake in any of the other copious amounts of live streams that are on YouTube. The endless amount of stuff that you could be doing in the real world. This here is just for people to kick back, chillax, and KBS, get into the KBS state of mind. Okay, you like that? I like that. So we will get into it. Here we go. So first up, just a little reminder, taking on the wokelings and the weirdos and the police state today with Charlie Robinson over on the Kev Baker show. Really looking forward to that one. And I'm back out of Twitter jail. They've let me back out to play. Yes, yes. A big thank you to, I'm not even going to name that cretin that got me thrown in the Twitter gulag. You know who you are, though. The kind of person that cries about how their free speech has been taken away by big tech platforms. Yet at the same time, you go run into big tech platforms because you can't handle when a man enters a conversation. Yeah, hats off. Absolute tard. But anyway, people might know who I was talking about. You might not. You're missing nothing if you don't. Let's get into bonkers Bezos. Because Jeff Bezos, no, it's not a condition that astronauts come back with after having sexual relations with anything on the moon. It's actually a billionaire in space. Go figure. Yeah, as if you didn't know that. Here we go. So Jeff Bezos and brother to fly to space in Blue Origin flight. Hey, well, listen, if you've got the rocket company to do so, then why not, right? So there he is there, again looking very strange, almost very out of place. I know people like to have a bash on Elon. I've heard people saying that Elon's a clone, he's an alien, he's this, he's that. Well, for every part of Elon being a bit weird and creepy and out there, this character's got it in spades, right? He truly, truly does. But we'll take a look at that. It says the Amazon founder, Jeff Bezos, has said he will fly into space with his brother on the first human flight launched by his space company, Blue Origin. Now that takes a set of Blue Origin Bezos, doesn't it? Takes a healthy set of Bezos to fly on the first flight. I have to take my invisible cap off to that one. I mean, it's not like he's sending people up there on a trial run to make sure it's good to go. He's going to be there on the first flight. So I suppose you have to admire that in some ways, right? He's either genius or backrap crazy. I don't know. As in an Instagram post, Mr. Bezos said space flight was something he'd wanted to do all my life. I would imagine that at some point, be it as a child or like me and your, oh, now there's a helicopter outside. But listen, folks, newsflash. I live on like the flight path for the police helicopter in Glasgow, so I can't play that game. I get helicopters over here all the time. I would love to think they're here for me. But in reality, they really aren't. I just ain't that important. So if I hear a helicopter, I'm not telling you that because I think it's watching me. I'm telling you that because it's probably going to annoy the hell out of me because it's just sitting right over the house right now. Or maybe they are watching me. Maybe they don't like me talking about Bezos and his spectacular Blue Originals, right? Says Blue Origin is also auctioning off a seat in a capsule for someone who will join the pair on the inaugural crewed flight. So me, I, as a child and in later life up to this present day, I've always had a yearning to see what it would be like out there in space, you know, going beyond where man has allegedly gone before. I say allegedly because do we truly know? There's a part of me that's got a very open mind to the fact that we ourselves in the ancient past may have came here from somewhere like Mars. So this whole space flight thing, I know we talk about it being our first time and we're doing this and that world first, but really is it? I don't know. And listen, this auctioning off a seat, whew, boy oh boy. Now, talk about a grift. The only thing is, he doesn't need to earn money, okay? This guy's got enough money. I'm not saying Bezos is grifting. However, wait till you take a look at the cost. The cost of the current highest bid to go and sit on what is nothing more than a stick of dynamite aimed at space with that man there. Check this out. Oh, $3.8 million to strap yourself to basically a bomb and aim yourself up into the clouds with, like I say, this character right here. Shh, I don't know. I don't know. As much as I've always wanted to get into space, A, price tag, yeah, don't know. And B, I'm not sure if I'd want to be stuck in space with Jeff or his brother. I'm just saying. There's only certain types of people you could get on with, like you could really hunker down with in the vacuum of space, right? And I don't know if Jeff's cutting it for me. I just don't. So this is their very very phallic looking symbol of a rocket. And it says the New Shepherd. Oh boy. I'm sure that name will spark many a conversation that goes on late into the night on podcasts and in living rooms around the world. Yes, the New Shepherd. Reusable rocket designed to take passengers into space. So you've got the capsule at the top. Let's call it the helmet, if we will. That'll blow off at the end. We've got air brakes that deploy on descent to reduce the speed by half. Engine propels rockets into space and restarts for controlled landing. We've seen all this with Elon, nothing new there. But it says that Bezos has a net worth of, I don't even know, can I even say that figure? Because I can't picture what that would look like in reality. £131.5 billion. If anyone is a billionaire watching right now, my PayPal's in the description, and I'll happily take one of your zeros off you. Now, I would say out of the 35 people watching right now, I can confidently say there aren't any billionaires out there. But even if I was a billionaire, would I really want to risk it all, strapping myself to a rocket to get off this our own little rock here, our miraculously majestic blue little marble? I think it was Carl Sagan, wasn't he the one that said that? I don't know. And then you could go full kind of down the rabbit hole. You could like take off your logical thinking kind of air brakes. You could park reason and logic and critical thinking right at the top of the rabbit hole, and you could go deep, ladies and gentlemen. You could go deep, and you could start asking, why is it? Why is it these billionaires, now we have two of them at least, that are absolutely hell-bent with everything they're worth near enough, trying to get the hell off the planet? What do they know that we don't? You see, you could take it all the way there. I keep my mind open, ladies and gents. I keep my mind open. So it says on July 20th, I will take that journey with my brother, he wrote in the Instagram post. The greatest adventure with my best friend. So Mark Bezos' brother Mark called it, Mr. Bezos' mother Mark, called it a remarkable opportunity in the video. And bidding for a seat on the New Shepherd, the name of the Blue Origin vehicle, has reached 2.8, well, it's up 1 million now, as we just seen, when Mr. Bezos announced his plan to take the flight. The auction concludes on the 12th of June. Can we get a GoFundMe going? Can we get a GoFundMe going for, $3.8 million right now? Probably not. Nice idea, though. Sid says, if I go into space, go on one of these trips into space, am I a real Nordic alien? Sid, you're realer than any of the ones that get spoken about on YouTube by people like me, probably. I would give you that. I would give you a confirmed Nordic space traveler qualification title. I don't know, but you would be bestowed as Earth's Nordic. Literally a space Nordic. I like it, dude. Let's see. ZX says water is easy to create in principle. Yep. Find out how to get water in space and you have unlimited fuel. Yep. You could start splitting hydrogen down and that kind of thing. Hydrogen conversion. I get you, dude. I get you. Yep. Look, I think if you were able to get onto asteroids, things like that, there are supplies. There are supplies up there, like has been said in the chat room. It's just whether or not we're doing it. And there's still a part of me thinks that we've got a very much more, again, it's just speculation. I'm not saying this is true, but I do think we've got technology that far exceeds strapping yourself onto like a rocket, literally like a stick of dynamite. Strapping yourself on a stick of dynamite and being aimed at the sky. I would like to think that anyway. I would like to think that. And of course, Sid, you're well placed, right? Because you've got that, is it Anatolia spaceport up there in Norway? We've got, I'm sure Virgin Galactic were looking at Scotland at one point for one of their places to take off and come back down. This is going to be the next big thing, right? Not at this price, obviously, but the whole space tourism kind of thing. Again, that's part of our moving into the sci-fi world, right? Right? I mean, you don't just wake up one day and find out there's federations and exopolitics and you're part of something far bigger. I think it happens gradually. And then what happens when there are more and more people going into space? Does it then become unfeasible, the truth about what's out there? You know, it can't be kept. They can't keep a lid on it at that point, can they? Can they? If there's tourists going orbiting around the moon, what are they going to see on the far side? Ooh, booga booga. But anyway, let's take a look at this, right? It says on July 20th, the New Shepard will fly its first astronaut crew to space. We're offering one seat on this first flight to the winning bidder of an online auction. Damn, dude, there's still part of me sitting here going, this is super cool. But the first flight? Andoya. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. That's the one. Hey, Sid, come on. You know me, man. I usually get in the ballpark-ish. Kinda, maybe. I don't know. I have to. I've never really been somebody that's been into Jeff Bezos or never really looked into him. Kind of neutral on Jeff Bezos, up or down about the guy. He's a billionaire. I tell you what, looking at this, I have to kind of say, well, hats off, man. If you're willing to be on that first inaugural flight, that says something. And at least you're the one on there and you're not sending some, just anyone else to be that test dummy, that first flight. So, love him or hate him, I don't know. I definitely look at him slightly differently, having the kahunas to be on there himself. And he's dragging his brother as well. So, there you go. Will they come back, ladies and gentlemen? What if they just disappear into the void? If they just... Houston, we have a problem. Houston, this is Jeff Bezos with his giant Blue Origin balls, and we have a problem. That's the last you ever hear of him. Him and his Blue Origins just out of there, gone. Turned into Space Bezos. What can you say? So the winning bid amount will be donated to the Blue Origins Foundation Club for the Future to inspire future generations to pursue careers in STEM and help invent the future of life in space. Oh, nice. Here we go. Club for the Future. I haven't talked about this much, I don't think. Founded by Blue Origin in 2019, Club for the Future is a foundation whose mission is to inspire future generations to pursue careers in STEM and to help invent the future of life in space. I like it. The club and its collaborators are doing this through postcards to space, space-focused curriculum, and access to space on Blue Origin rockets. Wowzers. Let's have a look.
What I'm laying out here today is obviously a multi-generation vision. One of the things that we have to do is inspire those future generations. And so today I'm announcing that Blue Origin is founding the Club for the Future, whose mission is to inspire young people to build the future of life in space. So we're going to ask...
See if I find out I've just missed out by a few generations on being a spacefaring civilization. I am going to be so pissed. I'm going to be asking, why did I make a contract to come back now? I thought we were meant to see the biggest kind of changes in the whole universe. And now you're telling me I was like 2 generations too early or something. Nah, raging.
K through 12 students to send us postcards with their dreams of the future. And then we're going to send them to space in New Shepard, bring them back and mail them back to you.
We're from Blue Origin. We are going to be sending some postcards to space. And we really wanted to bring that access to students to inspire them.
I'm interested in space medicine and space exploration, so I have a futuristic city with a rocket launching.
Space medicine. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is where we start to get into the world of replicators and emergency holographic kind of assistants and all the wonderful world of Star Trek and Star Wars like we were hearing last night. This is how it starts, folks. This is a conversation I was having with Nano Girl. How do we get from where we were 5 years ago to where we're going to be, say, in 15 years? Dang, this is what it looks like then.
A giant caduceus on the top, which is a symbol for medicine.
Mine has a person standing on the moon, and it says the future is only tomorrow away because if we build the future, we have to do it a day at a time.
Wow, that's really poetic. That's really cool.
Today we're loading the Club for the Future postcards into payload lockers, and those are going to be loaded into the crew capsule. We've got thousands of postcards that are going to fly on New Shepard.
And it's this generation's...
You got to admit, that landing's pretty dope. It's pretty cool. You got to give it that. I don't see the thinking in the postcards into space right enough.
job to build that road to space so that the future generations can unleash their creativity. The kids I talked to earlier, if they are representative of the current generation, we are in good shape.
I want it noted he didn't smell one child. He didn't act at all creepy there. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. I'm kind of happy at this. And like I say, I'm kind of pissed as well. I think I've missed it. I think I've missed it by a couple of generations. But yeah, him, Musk. And we've heard Musk talking about it. You know, his belief, his idea, his opinion that if we are going to have any longevity and to have a kind of fail-safe kind of in place, or if anything was to go wrong here on Earth, then it's a no-brainer. We have to become interplanetary. And now we see him doing it. We see Bezos. Well, he's only going to the moon for a day trip or two. But that is where our future lies, folks. It is. And as crap as everything is in the world right now, and boy, it's crap. We could sit here and we could focus on that. None of it would change, though. It would just make us more pissed off and more fed up with all the crap. I like to see things like this. And I know it's easy to kind of hate on billionaires and people that have made it. But like I say, I've never really dived into the character of Bezos. Maybe the shadiest dude in the world. I don't know. I heard that his granddad, I think it was his grandfather, was once the head of DARPA. But listen, I've read a lot of things online. Doesn't mean it's right. Maybe it is true. I don't know. I don't know at all. But I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on this. And I've seen Sidvich down there. He was telling people that there's already been like an unmanned version of this flight. And hey, dude, hats off. Unmanned, that's one thing. But I still think it takes a little set of the old kahunas to be crawling on in there for the first manned one as well. I'm just saying. But hats off to him for that. So, no, Bruce, I think, see, this is the thing Bruce says, did Jeff tell the kids they'll be eating his favourite cockroaches on the rocket? No, because A, I don't think they're going up for that long, and B, the replicator will become a thing, dude. They'll be able to print out their favourite Big Mac or a Whopper, or it'll be us down here that's left with the insects. You see? So we've got that future to look forward to. An infestation of insect burgers. Yes, indeed. I'm going to come back to this company, though, because it's one I've not really looked into much at all. We're going to see what else is on here. Blue Moon. Let's see. You see this here now. Back to the moon to stay. This looks like something out of a 50s, 60s, 70s cartoon, or is it just me? You never built an airplane. No, I haven't, Sidvich. You are absolutely 150% correct. I have never built an airplane. I have put together an Airfix model or two in my time as a child, but I really don't understand the connection between building an airplane and then strapping yourself on for the inaugural flight out of the atmosphere. Like I say, bound to a bomb. It's like a stick of dynamite. It's crazy. But dude, if building a plane makes you confident that this is a cinch, it's an easy one, I'm with you. You can fly. I'll go in the co-pilot seat. We'll be jamming. We'll be jamming. You'll be the first Nordic in space, and I'll be the first. Well, Kev Dave will be the first kind of split personality for a start, but Scotsman in space. We've already had Scotty, so nah, I wouldn't even be the first Scotsman in space. Nothing to claim. No good for me. So it's got the cargo lander. Let's see, NASA human landing system. And I don't know if that's a thing anymore, right? Because didn't they go with the SpaceX option for their moon missions? I strap in every time, and Sid does do a bit of flying, ladies and gentlemen. He is a bit of a winged Norwegian, not to be mistaken with a winged humanoid or Mothman or even.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Ah, the soundboard worked correctly, thankfully. And I just seen a Hodgson in the chat room. Good to see you, Hodgie. Yes, indeedy. Somebody mentioned the Voyager. Now, I heard the other day, Voyager comes back online. Let's see. Images, news. Nah, maybe not. Maybe that was it there. Plasma waves that it detected. Voyager 1 detects plasma waves in interstellar medium because it's out of our solar system now. And then there was actually... yeah, this is it here. I'll put the sound up. Let's see. Is it actually going to get to the bit where it plays it? That there, ladies and gents, is the eerie sounds of outside our solar system. Yes, indeedy. There you go. There you go. So, with that said, let me come back over here. Let's see what people are saying. Audrey says, well, when they leave the Matrix, here they probably get filet mignon. Nice. Sounds good, dude. Where's my sense of adventure, Steve? Oh, I've got loads of it, dude. I've got adventure and bagfuls, copious amounts. Strap in every time. Had that one. Bruce Wayne's laughing at the Mothman. The Mothman come from space. Sid throwing a... I tell you what, it's a love-hate relationship with Sid, innit? Innit? One day he loves me, the next day he's throwing shoes at me. Terrible, man. Due to the tragedy of a maiden flight, SpaceX takes undeniable lead in the space supremacy of richest man. Whoa, Ron. That might be one of these kind of prophetic things that we come back to look on. Yep, think they had a meeting and Elon said, Moon or Mars, you pick it. Could well be. Who knows? What else we got happening in the chat room? Oh, there's one of my favourite KBSers. The Gherkins are in. Yes, that is a creepy sound, Malaya. Very, very creepy sound. So it says here, Bruce says tomorrow's solar eclipse is visible from parts of Russia, Greenland, northern Canada. Weather permitting, those in northern Asia, Europe, and the United States will see a partial eclipse. Dude, I'll be happy if we just get to see the sun in any way, shape, or form. We had a couple of nice days out there, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant. But now the cloud cover is back. Yes, the data dome. Only today it's the cloud dome that we're under. No good, and it's that whole muggy, horrible, needs to thunder type way. Don't like it when it gets like that. So I'm going to have a quick drink of coffee and then we're going to get back into it, folks. We're going to be talking more about space. And then we'll get into a little bit of woo. Before we go and get Charlie Robinson. Oh boy, is he worked up for today. Sidvich, what altitude have you been up to, dude? How high have you been? I'm being serious though. How many tens of thousands of feet have you been up, bro? Spooky Andy.
Spooky Andy.
So Sidvich has come back and he says he's been up to 45,000 feet. Dude, listen, I ain't no authority on any of this, but I declare you a spaceman. Anything over 33,000 feet for me, and you're there, dude. You are a Nordic in space. $45,000 feet, dude. That is pretty impressive. The fact you can fly, and listen, folks, I've seen video. It's not somebody just talking out a hole in his head. Yeah, the fact you do fly, dude. You know how super cool that is. Like super cool. There's like hobbies, right? And then there's like hobbies. There's things people do. I think it's pretty dang cool, and you should give yourself a big pat on the back for being able to say that, you know what, in my spare time, I take planes up to 45,000 feet. Damn, dude. Hats off, big man. Hats off. Yeah, the Blackbird. Now, that was a plane and a half, right? Shh. What a feat of engineering that thing was. And I remember when all the stealth fighter stuff started coming out. There was even a computer game back in the day. You could be the pilot of the stealth fighter, and you'd all your keyboard mapped out. And the black one, you come up the front, is all that weird shape. What have we got now? What have we got now? Because that was super secret. Nobody knew about it for years. And I know we hear people talking about TR-3B triangular craft. I know we hear that, but when are we going to get to see that kind of thing? I think the next big jump in aviation, it's not going to be cloaking. It's not going to be something like that. I think it's going to be the speed. Well, it could be the speed because I think it's all going to be tied in with the propulsion system. Sorry, I really do. I think we're going to see a big jump in technology. And remember, they've had it for years, so even when we get to see that kind of thing, it's got to make you wonder what they're still hiding in the background. So give me 2 secs, folks. I just need to do something, then I'll be back with you with NASA and UFOs. Oh, goodness me. Well, there's almost a weird kind of synchronicity to this, because I'll leave it on here just now, but Bruce in the chat room is saying, I've been a few thousand feet underwater. US submarine veteran. First and foremost, hats off to you, man. Big up to you, Bruce, for going into that line of work. And I say a weird synchronicity because I'm talking to Sid in Norway. And when I was doing comms over in Norway for the Royal Marines, I was working alongside a submariner. Yes, and probably one of the most interesting and at the same time weird individuals I've ever come across. But boy, could he handle his drink. It takes a certain breed of individual to be able to do the submariner thing. And I say that as a compliment. I don't say that in a derogatory way at all. That takes a very special type of mind to be able to operate at your very best in those circumstances. Underwater for months on end. No, that's different world stuff altogether. I can only imagine some of the stories you probably have, Bruce. Hats off, big man. Hats off. So listen, talking of hats off, don't be taking your hats off just yet because we're going to NASA. And just when you thought, dare we call it disclosure, couldn't get any weirder, it did. It has, and it's happening right now because, yes, ladies and gentlemen, enter the fray, NASA. Oh, look, before we even get started here, I think if NASA were to tell us anything, and I'm talking about even if they told us what day of the week it was, most people are going to be very skeptical because of NASA's track record, okay? And how many times have we seen NASA cutting off cameras on the ISS or any of the various missions just when it's looking like there's something there that probably shouldn't be? And then, the feed gets lost or comms go down and now we're expected to think that this is going to shine a light on what's going on in the world of UFOs to let NASA tackle it? Oh, bring me back Elizondo, please. Says NASA is now on the perplexing UFO case. NASA Chief Bill Nelson, who assumed his post last month, has asked agency researchers to look into the spate of UFO sightings that US Navy pilots have reported over the past 2 decades. Quote, now that I'm here at NASA, I've turned to our scientists and I've said, would you, looking at it from a scientific standpoint, see if you can determine what these objects are so that we can have a better idea. Now, Nelson told CNN's Rachel Crane in an interview that the network posted online Friday, June the 4th. Going to say the bottom line is we want to know. And he added, and that's what we're going to try and do. News of the UFO encounters broke in late 2017, and we know all that. And we've been waiting for this report to come out. The report to come out. Oh, it's going to tell us everything report. Well, I'm just glad I never said that on here, because already I'd be looking pretty silly by now, right? But we haven't seen the actual report yet, but we're told that it's pretty much to do about nothing. Yes, there's things out there, but no, we don't know whose they are. And we can't say they are aliens, and we don't rule out they are aliens. And long live the truth embargo when it comes to UFOs, right? So now we're meant to be happy that NASA are taking over. Jeez Louise. Colour me skeptical, ladies and gentlemen. Just colour me a little bit skeptical. Says here, these stories revealed that in 2007, the US Department of Defense created the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program to investigate sightings of UFOs, or UAPs, as the military recently rebranded them. ATIP has officially phased out, or was officially phased out in 2012, but the Pentagon stood up a successor task force last summer. And the drive to get to the bottom of the UFO mystery has continued to grow. December 2020, Mark Rubio, at the time the chair of the Senate's Intelligence Committee. That's a bit of a kind of misnomer, is it not? Senate and intelligence in the same sentence? I don't think so. I'm having a laugh, folks. I'm having a laugh. Asked the Pentagon and the U.S. Director of National Intelligence to deliver an unclassified report about the UFO sightings to Congress within 6 months. And we now know we're not getting anything very special in that report. But now, enter NASA. Good Lord. Like I say, the whole UFO topic, it's backrap crazy on a good day. It's one of the most dysfunctional, crazy, out there communities that I've ever kind of skirted around the periphery of. And I'm telling you, now you throw NASA into the mix. Where do we go next, ladies and gents? After all that optimism I had, all that optimism that something good was just around the corner, bang. They kick you in the ghoulies and hand you NASA. Well, what can we say? So, we've got one story of woo to go before I head on over and get Charlie Robinson, who is probably in the green room right now, and he's probably kicking stuff. He's probably getting really angry over there, because today he's wanting to talk about... Where is it now? Where is it? Where did I put it? There it is. Taking on the Wokelins, the weirdos in the police state. That's all going to be happening with Charlie Robinson. So I hope you can join me for that in just over half an hour. But we're not done here just yet. Not just yet. And I'll be back in just a moment, folks, with a little bit of woo before we head on over to the main show. Big shout out to Brass Neck, yes indeed. Yep, ex-army 10 years. And his old man was on the HMS Conqueror that sank the Belgrano, in 1982. Wow. That whole Falklands thing was instrumental in me wanting to become a soldier. Big time. There we go, Sidvich, yes. The aliens are real, but they ain't here, because we treat them like... Probably, dude, probably. Absolutely with you there. Yep. And the Brass was moaning about NASA and Bezos not telling us what they're going to find when they're out there. To be fair, Brass, to be fair, I don't think Bezos has ever made any secret of the fact he's just blasting himself off into space. Why? Because he can. Because he's got enough money to do it, and he can. So, nah. But NASA definitely, I won't be holding my breath to find out anything from them, but you tend to find you don't need to go to NASA for the best stuff anyway. You know, there's a whole heap of other organizations out there that are looking into space. Whole load of other astrophysicists, astronomers, scientists that do deal in that stuff, and you don't have to go anywhere near the crazy world of NASA. And it's a crazy, weird, and wacky world, right? Big time. Big time. One more story then before I head on over and get Charlie. And it's the bizarre, haunted, wailing waterhole of Australia. Now, I might have to take a couple of breaks during this because I'm getting a little bit breathless. But we'll start it. We'll see how we get on. But can't promise we're going to finish it. Says here, lying out in the Australian wilderness about 100 kilometres south of the town of Longreach in central Queensland is a fairly unremarkable waterhole along the Barcoo River called the Wilga Waterhole. Some places just sound Australian, right? They do. It's pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and it's so inconspicuous and mundane that people, or most people, would walk right on by it without giving it a second thought. Yet this particular waterhole has achieved quite the reputation for being an ominous and haunted place that has terrified locals and travellers for hundreds of years with its eerie wailing and other strange phenomena. According to the local legends, tales of something spooky going on at the Wilga Waterhole have been going on since at least the mid 1800s, when bushmen would often tell of blood-curdling screams and devilish, unearthly shrieking at night from the vicinity of the hole, usually rising in volume until they were nearly ear-piercing before stopping to bring silence crashing down again. Most people in the area knew better to avoid the cursed waterhole, but according to the lore, one of the most well-known stories of the hole involve a couple who actually decided to build a shack at the hole sometime in 1890s. Now, author Bill Beattie would write of this tale in his 1960s book, A Treasury of Australian Folk Tales, saying, a new hand employed at Ruthven Station built a slab and bark hut near the waterhole. He brought his wife to live there, and she was she was a typical bushwoman, sensible, practical, and accustomed all her life to the loneliness of the outback. Now, the couple had been there for a short time when one night the husband arrived home late, having been delayed, to find his wife in a state of collapse. Now, she could tell him of nothing she had seen, but the most appalling shrieks had come from the watering hole, or the water hole. He felt that she had imagined the cries of some nocturnal bird to be ghostly shrieks and yells. And soon after this episode, the station hand was away for 2 nights. On arrival home, he found his wife hysterical. Now, crying and sobbing, she told him of the terrible screaming and wailing at the waterhole that had caused her to almost lose her reason. He arrived at the hut on the morning of his return to find that his wife was a semi-demented condition. Again, she told between fits of hysterical sobbing of the shrieking and wailing and screaming from the waterhole. Forthwith, he took her away from the hut, and after that, no one lived near it again. So another popular account of the Wilga watering hole also comes from the 1890s and was also written about by Bill Beattie, this time in a 1947 article he did in the Sydney Morning Herald. On this occasion, it was claimed that a pair of two shearers who camped there had a rather terrifying experience at the hole. They had heard the stories about the haunted watering hole, but didn't believe any of it until they experienced for themselves that evening. Beatty writes of the account. Over a roaring log fire they sat and swapped stories and waited, their scepticism growing with each hour that slipped by. About 11 o'clock a wild bellow brought every man to his feet, and the party spread out to see what manner of beast had uttered it. There was laughter when it was found that the bellow had come from an old bull wandering in the neighbourhood. Billies were put out on the fire, and the panacea, all the bush crises, for all the bush crises was brewed. Okay. After drinking their tea and smoking and yarning for some time longer, it was announced by one man that midnight was almost with them, and if anything was going to happen, it would, following all ghostly tradition, happen soon. It was unanimously decided that once midnight passed, all would declare the ghost of the Wilga waterhole to be non-existent, turn into their blankets and sleep. Midnight passed. Not even the voice of the old bull broke the bush silence, and accordingly, yawning and stretching, the shearers put away their pipes, rolled themselves in their blankets, and settled down beside the dying fire. Every man was soon asleep. None of them heard the first distant wail, but in a few seconds, as the wailing increased in pitch, every man was out of his blankets and on his feet. Suddenly there came a soft, distant wailing that grew rapidly nearer and louder. The cries appeared to be in different keys, devilish, unearthly shrieking, such as no human voices ever uttered. The screaming, now ringing in their ears at deafening pitch, was coming from the waterhole. The shearers thought their eardrums would burst, but they were too terrified to move. Then, to their fervent relief, the shrieking diminished in volume until it was merely a weird wailing. Moments later it ceased utterly, and once more the bush was deathly silent. When the men told their story at the shearing shed, it was received with derision by most, but others mentioned the Wilga waterhole was a notorious spot, and that the Aborigines always avoided it. Some of the old shearing hands said that horses were scared of it, and drovers admitted that they never could get cattle to rest there. There were instances where cattle driven from distant parts had arrived there almost exhausted, but had stampeded at sundown. Indeed, one commonly reported phenomenon associated with the mysterious hole is that animals avoided it. There are apparently no birds here, no wildlife of any kind, and cattle, sheep, and horses refuse to go anywhere near it, going as far as to forcibly break out of any paddock placed anywhere near it. In one 1942 edition of the Long Reach Leader, one rancher said of his animal aversion to the hole, "I don't believe in ghosts, but I have heard screams which have been so much discussed wherever Western men congregate, and I know for a fact that stock will not camp on the banks of the Wilga waterhole. On one occasion I tried to camp a mob of old cows quite close to the waterhole. Most of them were milkers, and I thought that nothing would frighten them. Everything went well until about 9 p.m, and then they started to rush and ring. In the morning we were a good 3 miles from camp. The horses had also made a break during the night, and were found badly wrung with their hobbles, standing shivering in a corner about 5 miles from the camp. What on earth's name were those animals picking up on, folks? Because they're usually a pretty good indicator that something weird is happening, right? Over the years, the sightings and accounts would continue, and there would be many attempts to explain what was causing the wailing and screaming at the Wilga waterhole, with various stories put forth, most of them involving ghosts. In another tale, a boundary river also went mad. Boundary Rider, sorry, also went mad and done a really bad thing and took the life of his wife and children. After which, his restless spirit lurks about, screaming out either despondency or madness. Still another is that a young man was mobbed and lynched to be thrown into the Wilga waterhole. One is that a woman who lived at a shack near the hole went insane, took the life of her child, and that her remorseful ghost now wanders about screaming out in torment over what happened. There is at least some corroborating evidence that at least the shack really did exist, and that the murder of the young one might have really happened, as author Paul Shields investigated the Wilga waterhole personally and wrote of the shack. I was surprised to find the ruin of the building that was mentioned in the story. The hearth and some of the forked bearers, which held up the little stockyards, still remain. Bits and pieces of discarded rusty horse gear litter the site. And even a greater surprise was that there were two graves down a ways from the ruin. Local legend has it that these circular graves are the final resting place of the mother and her child. The grave perimeters are ringed with hand-hewn, ancient, weathered wood stakes, and one is larger than the other, and Ruthven's owners are quite sensitive to possible damage that visitors may cause to the grave, so please be respectful. It goes on to say here, and I'll need to wrap this up real quickly, there are other ideas that the sounds are issued by the legendary Australian cryptid known as
the Bunyip.
Yes, the Bunyip is one of the scariest looking cryptids I've ever seen. More mundane explanations revolve around the idea that this is all merely a call from an owl or some other natural phenomenon. Beatty himself would muse, of the many theories that have been formed as to the origin of the unearthly noises, one is that they are caused by a subterranean channel. The channel perhaps connects the Wilga to others, and, under certain conditions, when the water rushes through, it causes the shrieking and yelling. Nevertheless, an exhaustive examination has failed to prove this theory or, for that matter, any other. So that's why we like it, because there's no definitive answer, right? It's full of the woo. Indeed, the mystery has never been resolved. Brassneck, thank you so much, brother. Wow. Thank you. I'm just making sure that's going to be coming through on the screen there. Indeed, the mystery has never been solved, and reports of strange... There we go. There's the Brassneck there.
Not often I get on here, Liv. Kev, keep up the crackin' work you do, brother. I'll be lurkin' as ever whilst at work. Love to the other half and your ma Pearl.
Oh, thank you so much, Brass. Thank you. Top notch, dude. Thank you very much. It says here, it is all very bizarre and little known local oddity that leaves us with many questions. Just what is going on here? What is causing this strange paranormal phenomena out in this remote area? Is it ghosts or something more mundane in nature? And the answer remains unclear. And the Wilga waterhole has continued to be a strange mystery in Australia. Listen, folks, I'd love to stay longer, but I need to go and get Charlie now. And I'll be over on TFR Live with the Kev Baker Show in 13 minutes. Big thank you to Brassneck. Big thank you to everyone that was here today. And I'll see you all really soon. Remember, you can get it on Paranormal Radio app. You can go to the TFR Live website. There's TalkStream Live, and even over in our Disco, where I put on the video as well. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.